Composting doesn't have to involve turning piles, fancy bins, or even a backyard full of space. If you're someone who wants to feed your soil straight from your kitchen with minimal effort, direct composting may be your ideal method. It's simple, low-tech, and incredibly effective when done right. But when it comes to what you bury, fruit scraps or veggie scraps, is there a difference in how they break down and benefit your soil? The short answer is yes, and this guide will walk you through the details so you can maximize the value of every peel, core, and leftover salad. Direct composting is the act of burying organic kitchen waste straight into the soil. Unlike traditional compost piles, this method skips the long wait and constant turning. Instead, the scraps decompose quietly in the ground, feeding your soil directly where your plants need it most. For gardeners who are short on time or space, or just don't want to deal with compost bins, this approach is refreshingly hands-off. The key to doing it successfully is understanding what you're putting into the soil and how it behaves once buried. Vegetable scraps tend to be the go-to material for most direct composting setups. They break down quickly, especially when chopped into small pieces, and rarely cause issues with acidity or pests. Carrot tops, broccoli stems, cabbage leaves, and even cooked vegetables, as long as they're free of grease or animal fat, all work beautifully in this method. Because most vegetables are soft and water-rich, they decompose fast, attracting beneficial microbes and earthworms almost immediately. These scraps also tend to be lower in sugar compared to fruit, which helps reduce the risk of attracting ants or fruit flies, particularly in warmer climates. When buried properly about a foot deep, veggie scraps disappear within a few weeks, leaving behind dark, crumbly soil packed with microbial life. Fruit scraps, on the other hand, offer a different kind of decomposition dynamic. While they are also nitrogen-rich like vegetables, they typically contain more sugars and moisture. This makes them decompose rapidly under the right conditions, but it also means they can ferment or attract pests if not buried deep enough. Apple cores, melon rinds, banana peels, and citrus skins are all compostable and can offer plenty of nutrients to your soil. But there are caveats. Citrus peels in particular are slower to break down due to their tough, waxy skins and antimicrobial oils. Burying too many at once without a balanced layer of carbon-rich material like dried leaves or shredded paper can lead to slow, acidic pockets that temporarily disrupt soil pH. This is where layering becomes essential. Whether you're composting fruit or vegetables or both, you need to balance your greens with browns. Greens are your kitchen scraps, rich in nitrogen and water content. Browns are carbon-heavy materials like dried leaves, shredded newspaper, or sawdust. Adding a handful of dry matter to your kitchen scraps before burying them helps regulate moisture, aeration, and microbial balance. Think of it as feeding your soil a balanced meal instead of dumping it a sugar rush or watery stew. For example, if you've got a bowl full of banana peels, apple cores, and leftover spinach, layering in some crumpled newspaper or old straw before burying will stabilize the mix and make decomposition more efficient. Moisture is another key player. Fruit and veggie scraps already contain a good deal of water, so unless your soil is bone dry, you won't need to add much. That said, your composting pocket shouldn't be soggy or swampy. Slightly damp is perfect. Too much water can suffocate microbes and slow decomposition, while too little can stall the process altogether. If your garden bed is dry, consider watering the hole slightly before adding your scraps and browns. So, covering the top with a layer of soil and mulch afterward helps hold in just the right amount of moisture. Depth is your best defense against unwanted critters. A shallow burial of just a few inches might, invite raccoons, dogs, or rodents who catch a whiff of that sweet melon rind or overripe tomato. For best results, dig at least 12 inches deep and tamp the soil firmly after burying. Not only will this mask the smell, but it will also speed up the interaction between the scraps and the active root zone where your plants can really benefit. So, which is better for direct composting, fruit or vegetables? Well, the answer really lies in how you manage them. Vegetables are generally safer and easier to handle, decomposing cleanly and quickly without much risk. Fruit adds diversity and nutrients, but, it does demand a bit more care in terms of depth, carbon balance, and quantity. If you're just starting out, vegetable scraps are a great gateway into direct composting. Once you've mastered your layering and burial technique, integrating fruit scraps becomes an easy upgrade that really supercharges the fertility of your soil. One of the best things about direct composting is how quietly powerful it is. You're not just discarding waste, you're turning it into life. Each buried peel or stalk becomes food for the invisible world underground, which in turn feeds your plants from the roots up. Over time, beds that seemed lifeless begin to loosen, darken, and hum with activity. Worms appear, microbes flourish, crops grow stronger, and all of it comes from materials you were already throwing away. If you found this guide helpful and want more down-to-earth methods for building soil and growing better plants, be sure to subscribe to Hydrohaven and share this with your fellow gardeners. Together, we'll keep growing smarter, greener gardens, one kitchen scrap at a time.